Again, Dhyanarthi.
स्वामीज्यू प्रणाम। स्वामीज्यू हजुरले हिजो पूर्व जन्मको बारेमा बोल्दै गर्दा हजुरसँग गुरुले लिएका परीक्षाका केही प्रसङ्गहरू सुन्दा हामी अश्रुपूर्ण बनेका थियौँ। साधनाका पियक्कडहरूको जमात कहाँ त्यतिले मात्र सन्तुष्ट हुन्थ्यो र
नीरव is there? एक जना इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट कर दे भाई कोई। नीरव सही ना? Somebody should translate in English for people who don't understand Nepali. Somebody? Just sit down there.
स्वामीजी, हाम्रा महान गुरु ओशोले लिनुभएको अरू थप कठिन परीक्षाका प्रसङ्गहरू सुन्न म आतुर छु। मलाई लाग्छ यो आजको सेसन गुरु परीक्षाको सेसन हुनेछ। म अनुमान गर्न सक्छु ती प्रसङ्गहरू सुन्दै गर्दा यो रजनीश ध्यान मन्दिर चरम शून्यतामा पुग्नेछ। हामी आनन्दको अतिरेकमा पौडी खेलिरहेका हुनेछौँ। हाम्रा आँखाहरूबाट निस्केको आँसुले हाम्रा रङ्गीन रोगहरू नेथुक्क हुनेछन्। हिरण्य लोकमा उत्सव मनाइरहनुभएका हाम्रा रहस्यदर्शी गुरु ओशो प्रकृतिको यो अपार सङ्गम रोमाञ्चकारी तपोवनको ध्यान मन्दिरभित्र साधनाका प्यासी आफ्ना प्यारा प्रेमीहरूको अश्रुपूर्ण आह्वानयुक्त विलाप सुनेर के हुँदैछ यहाँ भनेर पदार्पण गर्नुहुनेछ। अनि उहाँका प्रेमपूर्ण मुलायम हातको स्पर्श हामीले अनुभव गर्नेछौँ। त्यस भावपूर्ण अतिरेकमा आफ्ना सद्गुरुको झङ्कार हृदयमा गुन्जिएको महसुस गर्नेछौँ। स्वामीज्यू, हाम्रा लागि ती प्रसङ्गहरू साधनाका सूत्रहरू हुन्, ती लेखिनु पर्दछ। हजुरबाट अनुमति भयो भने म आफै लेख्न तयार छु। जबकि भविष्यका साधनाका मुमुक्षहरूलाई थाहा होस् यस धरतीमा गुरुबाट आफ्ना शिष्यहरूलाई यस्तोसम्म कठिन परीक्षा लिएको थियो भनेर स्वामीज्यू कृपा होस्।
कुनै पनि डक्टरलाई अस्पतालमा मरिजको परीक्षा, मरिजको एक्जामिनेसन गर्नलाई, मरिजको चिकित्सा गर्नलाई पठाउनु अगाडि उसलाई मेडिकल काउन्सिलले जाँच लिन्छ, हेर्छ कि त्यो मान्छे लायक छ कि छैन। Any doctor, when before he is sent to treat the patient, he is examined by medical council whether he is qualified or not. Then only he is certified to go and treat the patients. Similarly, every master has to test his disciple before he is given any important responsibility of work. Whether the disciple is ready, worthy, qualified or not. So it is with every disciple has to pass this examination if he has to work for the master. I was talking about Yoganand Ji Gowai. Everybody understand English or some problem? I will speak both Nepalese and English. So, I have talking about Swami Yogananda, a great mystic, a great yogi. His master name is Yukteswar Giri. Before he was sent to America to spread to teach meditation, Yukteswar Giri was very hard upon him and took him many examinations. And he was every day becoming more and more hard. Outside it looked that he is cruel with Yogananda. When Yogananda went to America, he did lot of good work. Everybody praised, but Yukteswar Giri never praised. He was very tough and hard. When Yogananda came to meet him before he was leaving his body, he called him because he was ready to leave his body. So he called him from America. तो जब आउनुभयो योगानंद जी अनि युक्तेश्वर गिरी अलि अस्वस्थ हुनुहुन्थ्यो। 20 वर्ष 25 वर्षदेखि उहाँ आफ्नो शिष्यमाथि प्रत्येक दिन कठोर हुँदै गइराख्नु भएको थियो। और योगानंद के प्रति और कठोर होते जा रहे थे। So Yogananda one day find him in isolation where he was alone. Then Yogananda asked him, that Master, do you remember that since 20 years you have never said a kind word to me? You have been always shouted at me and always criticized me and always very hard upon me. You have not word a single word of love for last 20 years. Do you remember it or not? The Yukteswar Giri smiled. He said, yes, I remember. Then Yogananda asked him that my ear is thirsty to hear at least one good word from you. 20 सालदेखि खाली गाली नै सुन्दै आइरहेको छ। एउटा मिठो कुरा सुन्न मेरो कान चाहिँ प्रतीक्षारत छ। अनि त्यसैले के भन्नुभयो भने हेर म he was a married man and before he took sannyas and his desire was to produce a child, boy child, and his desire was that his boy child should become a great yogi and follow his path and spread spiritualism in the world. That was his deep desire. It could not happen because his wife died when he was very young. Yukteswar Giri's wife expired, so she could not bear any child for him. So Yukteswar Giri said that my desire was so deep inside me to produce a child, to make him a great yogi. यत्रो गहिरो मेरो भित्र यो डिजायर गढिया थियो, मेरे अंदर इतनी गहरी ये वासना थी कि इसके कारण मेरा एक जन्म और हो जाता और एक जन्म और लेके मुझे फिर विवाह करना पड़ता, और एक क्योंकि बहुत गहरी इच्छा हो तो आदमी को जन्म लेना पड़ता है, जिसकी इच्छा पूरी करने के लिए गुरुओं को भी जन्म लेना पड़ता है, गहरी इच्छा हो तो यो त्यसरी भन्नुभयो कि यो मेरो इच्छाले मलाई एक जन्म दिलाइदिन्थ्यो र मैले फेरि अर्को जन्ममा बिहा गर्नु पर्थ्यो, एउटा बच्चा बनाउनु पर्थ्यो। त तिमी जब आयो, मेरो त धेरै शिष्य छन्, युक्तेश्वर गिरीका सैकड़ौँ शिष्य थिए, अनेक शिष्य छन्, तर उहाँ योगानन्दभन्दा सिनियर शिष्य पनि थिए। त तिमी जब आयो र तिम्रो मैले देखेँ लगन, प्रेम र विश्वास, अनि तिमीलाई मैले तयार गरेँ अरूलाई ध्यान सिकाउनलाई, अमेरिका पठाएँ, मेडिटेसन इन्ट्रोड्युस गर्नलाई अमेरिकामा। र त्यसपछि मेरो यो जुन डिजायर थियो, गहिरो डिजायर थियो, had a deep longing to create my own son and to make him a great yogi, that desire disappeared. I could become free from that desire because you are doing wonderful job in America and your disciple is like a son. So my desire disappeared. I have become free from my desire. And when I become free from my desire, this is my last life. I will not have to take another life. So look, I am your guru. I am teaching you. You are my disciple. But you have done such a wonderful job for me that actually you have made me free from next birth. Otherwise, तत्र मलाई फेरि अर्को जन्म लिनु पर्थ्यो। तिमीले मलाई जन्मको चक्करबाट मुक्त गरिदियो। तिमीले कत्रो ठुलो उपकार म माथि गरेका छ। Even disciple can make a master free. Because otherwise I would have to take another birth. So you made me free. So I don't know how much I'm grateful to you. I'm very grateful to you that you had made me free from taking another life, another birth. अर्को जन्म तिमीबाट मलाई मुक्त गर्यो तिमीले, त्यो प्रति म यति अनुग्रहित छु, यति तिमीलाई प्रेम गर्छु। प्रेम के गर्छु, म अनुग्रहितै छु। कुनै गुरु आफ्नो शिष्यप्रति अनुग्रहित त हुँदैन नि। मैले भन्नुभयो म अनुग्रहित छु तिमीसँग, आई एम obliged to you. But I was hard upon you because I was trying to shape you every day, sharpen you. किन म तिमीबाट प्रति लुज भएको भए तिमी यति दिन प्रखर योगी भएर आयो, त्यो हुन सक्थेन। So I was always criticizing you, always abusing you, always finding fault in you so that you can improve. And you have improved. So, यो हरेक गुरुले के गर्छ भने जब शिष्यलाई देख्छ कि शिष्यमा सम्भावना छ भने त्यसप्रति गुरु बडो कठोर भइहाल्छ। जब देख्छ कि शिष्यमा धेरै सम्भावना छैन भने कठोर भयो भने शिष्य भागिहाल्छ। सहँदै सहँदैन, कसले क्रिटिसिजम सहन्छ, कसैले सहँदैन। दुनियाँ आलोचना त कोही सहँदै सहँदैन। जो शिष्य तयार छैन त्यसप्रति गुरुले आलोचना गर्यो या त्यसलाई गाली गर्यो या त्यसलाई प्रति अलिकति पनि अप्रेमपूर्ण भयो भने त्यो शिष्य भागिहाल्छ। गुरु चाहिँ साधारण शिष्यप्रति कहिले पनि कठोर हुँदैन। यसले शिष्यको यो क्राइटेरिया छ, यो तपाईँ कति बुझ्न सक्नुहुन्छ मलाई थाहा छैन। तर जब कोई शिष्य, भगवानले भन्नुभएको छ कि जब मेरे हाथ में कोई हीरा आ जाता है तो मैं उसको तराशता हूँ, उसको छेनी से हथौड़े से उसको मांझता हूँ, उसको शार्प करता हूँ। जब हीरा आ जाता है, मिट्टी के लोदे पर अगर मैं छेनी चलाऊं तो फूट जाएगा। मिट्टी के लेंदे पर में कोई कठोर नहीं होता, होना भी नहीं चाहिए, वो भी टूट जाएगा। लेकिन जब हीरा आता है तो हीरा को तो पॉलिश करना पड़ता है, बहुत निखारना पड़ता है। सो इट इज अ जनरल रूल, द मास्टर विल बिकम very hard upon a potential disciple if he has to take work from that disciple. So Osho was also very hard upon few people, not only me, but there were a lot of people in Pune and before Pune. We joined him when he was in Jabalpur. Pune started much later. And there were a group of disciples. So Osho were trying to save them. So Osho has to become very hard on some of the disciples. He was very, very hard. Always criticizing. जो लोग हिंदी सुनते हैं, हिंदी प्रवचन सुनते हैं, अगर आप सुनेगा, चिन्मय जी का प्रश्न जब भी आता है, भगवान कितना उनको डांटते थे, तो हिंदी किताब पढ़ते हैं या हिंदी प्रवचन सुनते हैं, उसको याद कीजिए। क्योंकि उन पर भगवान बहुत काम कर रहे थे उन दिनों। उनके हर प्रश्न पर भगवान उनको डांटते थे, कोई भी प्रश्न करे, ABCD कुछ भी करे, भगवान उनको डांटते ही थे, क्योंकि उनको शेप कर रहे थे भगवान उस समय। यस्तै मलाई पनि उहाँले सेभ गर्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो। गुरुको कामै हो डिसाइपललाई सेभ गर्नु, बनाउनु। म प्रति पनि उहाँ धेरै कठोर हुनु, धेरै वर्षसम्म धेरै कठोर हुनु। करिब 20 वर्ष उहाँप्रति म प्रति धेरै कठोर, 1-2 वर्ष होइन, 20 वर्ष। अरू साधारण शिष्य भए छोडेर भाग्थ्यो। अनेक प्रकारको कठिनाइमा उहाँ ढाल्नुहुन्थ्यो, अनेक प्रकारको परीक्षा लिनुहुन्थ्यो। मैले हिजो केही बताएँ, म पुना 1मा 74 देखि 81 सम्म 7 वर्षमा मैले धेरै पटक गएँ। धेरै बस्ने कोसिस गरेँ, हरेक व्यक्तिलाई उहाँले राख्नुहुन्थ्यो आफ्नो नजिकमा। मलाई कहिले पनि बस्नु दिनु भएन। 2-3 महिना 3-4 महिना पुना साथै, अब तिमी नेपाल जाऊ, नेपालमा काम गर्नुपर्छ, जाऊ, पठाइदिनुहुन्थ्यो। चोट लाग्थ्यो, अरू साधारण व्यक्तिलाई उहाँले राखिराख्नु भएको छ। हजारौँ व्यक्ति उसोको नजिक बस्थ्यो, मलाई किन बस्नु दिनुहुन्न? कहिले बस्नु दिनु भएन उहाँले मलाई। 3 म्याक्सिमम 4 महिना, 4 महिनापछि दबाई हाल्नु। 4 महिनापछि 3-4 महिना भएपछि उहाँसँग भेट्न, इन्टरभ्यू माग्न छोडिदिन्थे, नजिकै जान छोडिदिन्थे मलाई। कि उहाँले जाऊ जाऊ भन्नुहुन्छ भनेर लुकेर बस्थेँ आश्रम। र पनि उहाँ लक्ष्मीलाई भन्नुहुन्थ्यो, अरे अरुण इन्टरभ्यू नहीं माग रहा है, उसको बुलाओ। अनि म गएपछि सोझै गाली गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, क्या कर रहे हो यहाँ बैठ के? तुमको कहा था नेपाल काम करने के लिए, यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो बैठ के? ध्यान करना। तर्क करे, ध्यान कराऊंगा। ध्यान तो तुमने काठमांडू में भी कर सकते हैं, ध्यान तो कहीं हो सकता है। चाहो जब हो गया 4, बहुत दिन रह गया, तुम जाओ। लक्ष्मी देखो कि अरुण को निकालो बाहर। 3-4 महीना भन्दा बढी मलाई कहिले बस्न दिनुहुन्थेन। काम पनि जुन दिनुहुन्थ्यो, काम मैले गरेँ धेरैचोटि। 74 देखि 81 सम्म 7 वर्ष म हरेक वर्ष 3-4 महीना पुनः बसेँ। सब रफ काम मलाई दिनुभयो, कहिले राम्रो काम दिनु भएन। There were people who were given good job, senior sannyasi were given good job, and I was a trained, qualified engineer. There were a lot of construction was happening, so I wanted some construction work. I asked Osho that give me some construction work. I can supervise, I can design, I can work in engineering section because a lot of construction was happening. But he never allowed me to work as an engineer. He always wanted that I should be a dhobi in the ashram or a toilet cleaner. I have done all rough work in the ashram. I was toilet cleaner for many months. The only job was to put a glove, plastic glove, and take a bottle of acid and harpic and just put into the toilet and brush it and and I was dhobi in the ashram. All rough work I have done. I was never given that. Those 7 years also never gave me any soft work. All physical work and all very dirty works. He wanted to test me that whether my surrender is total or not. He told me once that I was giving you hard work. Much later he told me that I was waiting that you should, if you could say no, or you could say that, Bhagavan, I am not happy with this work, change my work. But you never said no. I never said no. And I never requested him to change my work. So in 81, last time, 4-5 months, he was very hard. And I was working beyond my physical capacity. All very hard work. Like I told you, that garbage man and washer man and toilet cleaner and dishwasher, all rough work. Then my time finished and also told me to go back to Nepal. And that time when I got an interview, I got a darshan. Bhagavan laughed, he just smiled, and he said that, I am very happy that you never said no. And you never said that change my work. Whatever work was given to you, you did with total dedication. I am very happy. And never again you will be given hard work. Now that period is over. Now when next you will come, you will not have to go through that examination. So that was in 81. After that also left for America. When I went to America, he kept me like a prince. And in Bombay, in Manali, I was always given importance. Very good job and very good position. So those 7 years were of hardship and of my examination. By grace of God, I passed through the examination. I passed through. It was difficult because here I was working, I was earning, I was an engineer, I had many subordinates under me to work. I have a comfortable life. And there I have to wash clothes and I have to do floor cleaning and garbage cleaning. So sometimes my mind used to say, no, it's too much. No? Sometimes my mind used to say, whether Bhagavan really loved me or not, whether he recognized me or not, because you were not looking at me, you were not answering me. So sometimes my mind says whether he knows and he loved me or just he had totally forgot me. So mind always creates confusion and mind always creates distrust. That's the quality of mind. It will never give you trust. Always create distrust and doubt. My mind was also creating hundreds of doubt. But by the grace of God or grace of divine, I never said no, and I never escaped. I remained there. Few times I have failed. There have been many examinations, and sometimes I have failed. I remember sometimes I have failed, but most of the time I remained calm, and that had given me a lot of good result. एक आप लोग जो हिंदी पढ़ते हैं, एक ओशो का एक प्रवचन है विजयानंद के बारे में। विजयानंद बहुत फेमस हिंदी का फिल्म डायरेक्टर था। उस पर भी भगवान बहुत कठोर थे, बहुत कठोर। He was very popular film director, and also was very hard upon him. We could not bear it. So in about 78 or 77 or 78, he left Bhagwan, he dropped sannyas. Oh, it was too much. He could not bear it. So he dropped sannyas and joined other Guru, U.G. Krishnamurti. He joined U.G. Krishnamurti, who was always giving juice to his ego. Also was very hard upon, also was breaking his ego. And U.G. started giving juice to his ego. So he's become U.G. Krishnamurti disciple, and he dropped sannyas. In one of the lecture also said about few film directors, somebody has asked question about Mahesh Bhatt. Mahesh Bhatt भी हिंदी का एक बहुत फेमस फिल्म डायरेक्टर है, वो भी उसको सन्यासी थे, उन्होंने भी माला छोड़ के भाग गए थे। विजयानंद जी भाग गए थे। तो भगवान से किसी ने क्वेश्चन किया, तो भगवान ने कहा कि महेश भट्ट तो उसमें तो कुछ आध्यात्मिक संभावना नहीं थी, वो छोड़ के चला गया, तो उसमें मुझे कोई आश्चर्य नहीं। He just came out of frustration. There was frustration in his life, and he was going through depression. So he just came for mental relief, and he was with me for 1 or 2 years. Then he dropped sannyas. So I am not much concerned about Mahesh Bhatt. But about Vijayanand, Bhagavan said, I am very concerned, because he was a rare soul. He praised Bhagavan, praised him. He said, Bhagavan said, he is a rare soul, and he was growing very fast. And he was growing very fast. I had to become very hard upon him. So I was hard upon him. भगवान ने हिंदी में कहा है इस प्रवचन में, सुनिएगा, कि घड़ा बनाना, गुरु का काम है घड़ा बनाना। तो घड़ा जब बन जाता है तो घड़ा को आग पर पकाना पड़ता है। आग पर पकेगा नहीं घड़ा तो फूट जाएगा, कच्चा घड़ा फूट जाता है। इसलिए जब घड़ा बन जाता है तो गुरु को उसके आग पर पकाना पड़ता है ताकि वो मजबूत हो जाए। आग पर पकने के बाद घड़ा नहीं फूटेगा। तो विजय कहें कि महेश भट्ट का तो भी घड़ा बना भी नहीं था, वो चला गया, उसमें कुछ मुझे दुख नहीं है। लेकिन विजयानंद के लिए मुझे दुख है, भगवान ने कहा, तो उसका घड़ा बन गया था और उसको मैं आग पर पका रहा था, लेकिन वो उसको नहीं समझ सका। Because he was a popular film director, very famous. He has made a film like Guide, who has earned many awards. He was very talented filmmaker. He made a wonderful film. He was very recognized. So his ego was also there in background. Bhagavan said that because of his recognition, when I was trying to make him strong, उसके घड़े को मैं जब आग पर पकाने की कोशिश कर रहा था तो भाग गया। तो उसके लिए मुझे दुख है कि उसको फिर कई जन्म लग जाएंगे ऐसा गुरु मिलने में, ऐसा अवसर मिलने में। उसके लिए मुझे पीड़ा है। महेश भट्ट के लिए मुझे कोई पीड़ा नहीं। एक हिंदी लेक्चर में भगवान ने बोला है, आप सुनिएगा, कभी मौका मिलेगा तो 78 वगैरह के लेक्चर में। तो गुरुले यही काम गर्नुपर्छ, कुम्हारको काम, कविरले भन्नुभएको छ कुम्हारका काम भित्र घाडालाई कति काग्रो बनाउँछ भने उसले माथिबाट ठोक्नुपर्छ, बनाउनुलाई सेप दिनलाई ठोक्नुपर्छ, भित्रबाट सहारा पनि दिनुपर्छ, बाहिरबाट ठोक्नु पनि पर्छ अनि मात्रै त्यो माटो काम गर्ने हुन्छ उसलाई हेर्नु होला गाग्रोहरू बनाउँदाखेरि कसरी बनाउँछ त्यसरी नै गुरुले शिष्यलाई बनाउनुपर्छ धेरै पिट्नुपर्छ धेरै सहारा पनि दिनुपर्छ दुइटै भित्रबाट सहारा दिनु गुरुले नै भित्रबाट सहारा दिन्छ र बाहिरबाट कठोर हुन्छ त्यो कठोरता बडो मिठो हो त्यो त्यही हामीले पास गर्नुपर्छ जसलाई पनि सम्भावना छ जसलाई केही काम गर्नु छ दे हैव टू प्रूव देयर वर्थ क्योंकि आपको बहुत बड़ा कुछ खजाना दिया जाएगा उसके पहले आपकी परीक्षा हो जानी चाहिए ना ये तो आप बर्बाद कर देंगे कुछ भी शक्ति कुछ भी एनर्जी आपको दी जाए और आप बिकॉज स्पिरिचुअल पावर is the greatest power. Spiritual energy is the greatest jewel. If you have tendency, you can misuse this your spiritual power. You can, if you misuse your spiritual power, you can become very rich. You can become very famous. ओशो आफ्नो सन्यासीहरूलाई कुनै स्पिरिचुअल पावर दिनुभन्दा अगाडि धेरै हेरिदिनुहुन्छ यसको यसले दुरुपयोग त गर्दैन दुरुपयोग गर्ने सम्भावना छ भने गुरुले चाहिँ रोक्नुपर्छ र हामी सबै गुरुले शरीर छोडे पनि यसमा केही फरक परेको छैन उहाँको जब इज डुइङ एज ही वाज डुइङ बिफोर आई डोन्ट सी एनी डिफरेन्स what Bhagwan was doing when he was in physical body he is doing the same thing after dropping his physical body. He has not left his disciple, he has not left working upon us, rather he is working more hard. And he अब ज़्यादा सक्रिय है हो गए गुरु शरीर छोड़ने के बाद बहुत ज़्यादा सक्रिय हो गए वही आपके I'd better listen to his own words that he has dropped his body, but he has not resigned from his job. He is still on job. हुँदाखेरि जति काम गर्नुहुन्थ्यो त्योभन्दा बढी काम गरिराख्नु भएको छ. He has dropped his body, but he has not resigned from his job. He is still working on every disciple. There was a question about master taking the examination. I can give you an example of one disciple, Bhagwan disciple. Her name is Mayog Lakshmi. She was the secretary and president of Rajneesh Foundation for several years. Actually, she built the Pune ashram. Very creative lady, very simple, frail body. She has only maybe 4 feet and 10 inches, so less than 5 feet, and very frail body, but very strong character and very strong determination. So Bhagwan selected her as her secretary, president of Rajneesh Foundation. She worked very hard to build the ashram. And also was putting more and more responsibility on her head. She has to manage the finance, she has to answer letters, she has to look into the day-to-day affair of the commune. And it was a difficult job to run a commune. She was so much engaged that she don't have time for personal rest, even for sleep she didn't have time. She had to work 20-22 hours a day. Still work were pending. We were very good friends. We joined Osho almost the same time. So we are very good friends. I was a simple worker in the ashram and she was the chief. The secretary is the chief, she was the most powerful lady. She had all the power. But Osho was giving her so much work that it became difficult for her. No time for sleep. So she started fasting because if you eat, then you have to sleep. So she decided not to eat. And but she has to survive in the body. So we all force him that no, you should eat little bit, otherwise body cannot work. So her food became limited to one banana in the morning and a cup of milk, and the whole day few cup of tea, and in the evening maybe some vegetable soup. That's all. No cereal, because if she eats, she used to get drowsy, she wanted to sleep, and there was no time for her to sleep, because Bhagavan was putting more and more responsibility on her head. Answering letters, looking into banks, finance, arranging meetings. Running a commune is a huge task. And Pune commune was building, so a lot of construction work was going, and there was no money, so it was her responsibility to arrange finance, arrange engineers, get the drawing passed by the municipality. So it was too much for a small lady to do. But she has a wonderful example of surrender. She never said no to Osho. She was taking all the responsibility, and slowly she stopped completely eating, just banana and a cup of milk and a cup of soup in the evening. That was her entire food. We were all worried. She became very thin, she lost weight. The doctors were advising her that you should eat, but she never listened to the doctor. Because she said if she eats, she has to sleep, and then work get pending. So she was working sometimes 22 hours a day. And still also was putting more and more responsibility. In the ashram, Pune ashram, it was free society and also encouraged people to go into relationship. So everybody has a friend and everybody also wanted that people should not suppress their desires. So there were people who had girlfriend and boyfriend and also encouraged that. But Lakshmi was alone and she never had any relationship with anybody because she had no time for that. She had no time and no energy for that. There are some incidents which show that how innocent and simple Mahalakshmi was. One time, as also disciple Shiva, he was living in a Daosu, and there was a passage room of Shiva, and Lakshmi has to go through that room to the Transvatorium. So one morning or one evening when she was going to Transvatorium, Shiva was making love to his girlfriend. She was so innocent, living in the Pune ashram, she was so innocent, she thought they are fighting. So she went to help Shiva out. So she thinks he's fighting, he's cruel. Huh? So she could not understand that they are making love. So she was dragging Shiva out of her girlfriend. Kya kar rahe ho? It became a big joke in Pune ashram. Lakshmi does not understand love making. She was so innocent. But master has to become very hard upon disciple. Even on Lakshmi was totally surrendered to master. Master became so hard upon Lakshmi. When he went to Rajneeshpuram after Pune, Bhagwan appointed Sila as a secretary, and Sila was very jealous, just opposite of Lakshmi. Lakshmi was very simple and very accommodating, and Sila was very jealous, very egoist, and she was very afraid that Lakshmi may come into power because the Bhagwan's secretary has so many power. So she was jealous of Lakshmi, so she created so much trouble for her and slowly made her life very difficult in Rajneshpuram because she was jealous and she wanted that Lakshmi should leave the commune. She was afraid that she may again become secretary to Bhagwan love her. So she expelled, ultimately, the long story, but she ultimately expelled Lakshmi out of Rajneshpuram. Lakshmi was in so much love with Osho that she didn't want to go back to India. So she remained in New York. There was nobody to support her because Sila made a circular all over the world that Lakshmi has become negative. It was a false circular, and nobody should help Lakshmi because Lakshmi has been expelled by Bhagwan. She was not expelled by Bhagwan, she was expelled by Sila. But Sila made a wrong statement that Bhagwan does not like Lakshmi, and Bhagwan expelled her from Rajneshpuram, and nobody should help. And anybody helps Lakshmi, he will be also expelled, and he will be also banned from entry Rajneshpuram. So nobody was helping Lakshmi. So that in New York, there was no place she can live and no way she can maintain her life. So she started selling on footpath, on New York footpath. She started selling tidbits like sandwich and samosa just to survive in America. She has to earn something. So she was selling snacks on footpath to make her life, to maintain her life. Then American intelligence people arrested her because her visa was also expired and it was not renewed, not granted extension. So they asked her that you were close to Bhagwan and you know all the loopholes of the Rajneshpuram. So if you speak against Sila, we'll give you a green card. We can even give you American citizenship. And you can live in America and we'll also support you financially. But you have to speak against Sila. Tell us all the faults so that we can arrest her or we can expel her. Because American agency wanted to destroy the commune. So they wanted some negative facts. So first they wanted to bribe Lakshmi by giving her a assurance that she will be given green card and ultimately American citizenship and money also. She should speak against Sila. But Lakshmi said, no, I can't because she is Bhagwan's secretary and she is doing a wonderful job. But the agency said that we know that you have been expelled by Sila and Sila don't like you. She hates you. He said, that's her problem. But as long as she is Bhagwan's secretary, she is working for Bhagwan, I will not speak a word against her. So then the CIA people started torturing her. They put her under prison, and in the winter nights she was asked to sit on the ice to torture, how the police tortures, because she didn't have visa, so they have some ground. So they started torturing her. They made her naked, they beat her into the prison. She was given all type of torture so that she could speak against Bhagwan or speak against the Rajneshpuram commune management. especially against Sila. But she gone through all the torture, but she didn't utter a single word. Then they thought this is a frail lady, if they torture anymore, she will die, her body is very weak. So they decided to deport her from America. So on her passport, they put a black stamp that she deported from America and not qualified to enter into America any time. And directly they put her into plane and sent him back to India, Delhi. She came in Delhi. In Delhi also she had no support because Sila was speaking to every sannyasi in Delhi that don't support Lakshmi, anybody support Lakshmi will be expelled. And people are so blind, they can't see the facts. So every Indian sannyasi were afraid going near to Lakshmi. So she was in a miserable condition and she was living in a rented room in Delhi and she was sick. She had physical problem, she was sick because she was badly tortured in American prison, very badly tortured by CIA, very badly treated. So she was having physical problem. They also made with Bhagwan radioactive exposure and thallium. So without that, Lakshmi was also given some poison in her prison. So she was always sick after that. I was going to Rajneeshpuram, 85. I have a great respect for Lakshmi. I think that she is the symbol of surrender and symbol of dedication. And disciple cannot go more height than what Lakshmi has attained. Lakshmi is according to me, she is the symbol of surrender and dedication and trust. She is the highest position I have in my heart for her. As a disciple, she has done a wonderful job. And Bhagwan was also very hard on me in this day. In 83, I went to Rajneeshpuram, he called me and I went there. And then his darshan was only in drive-by because he was in silence. He was not meeting anybody, personal darshan was not possible, he was not coming for lecture. Only you can see him for a fraction of a minute in drive-by. So everybody used to queue in the drive-by and we all had to have this darshan. हम नमस्ते करते थे भगवान को, गाड़ी से भगवान गुजरते थे, आप देखिएगा 1 सेकंड के लिए भगवान से आंखें मिलती थी, उतने ही लोगों का संतोष हो जाता था और भगवान हंसते थे या नमस्ते के जवाब देते थे, बस उतना ही, और कोई बातचीत नहीं हो सकती थी। गुरु से मिलना जुलना, लेक्चर, मेडिटेशन सब बंद था। 1 सेकंड के दर्शन से लोग जी रहे थे रजनीशपुरम। So I was also standing every day in drive-by, but Bhagwan was so hard upon me, he never looked at me, never replied my namaste. Those days I was also going through the torture, so Bhagwan never looked at me and never replied my namaste. I changed my position. I thought wherever Bhagwan car stops for longer, like his car was stopping longer, where Bhagwan mother used to stand. So I just went next day and stand just close to her mother. So that Bhagwan will see me. He looked at her mother, also cheered her mother. Then when the car moved little further, and I thought that now he will look at me, he just turned his head. It is a trick of Master, how to insult you, how to torture you. He knows this talk. He knows this art, how to torture disciples. So he was torturing me like anyway, and all means. So any place I sit in the drive-by, he never looked at me. never answered my namaste. I wrote few letters, he didn't answer any of my letter. So I was very frustrated. 83, I thought I will never go to Rajeshpura. I came back in 83, I thought I will never go to Rajeshpura. I was working for him, I was running his center and doing my meditation. But I decided that it is wastage of money going America, spending so much money, and master is not ready even to look at it. And not answer. I wrote many letters, he didn't answer any of my letters. In 85, a letter from Sila came that Bhagavan wants that you should come to Rajeshpura. First I decided I will not go. So I wrote to Sila, I talked to Sila that I have financial problems and I am not very interested in coming to Rajeshpura. Then Sila said, no, Bhagavan has asked me to call you. It is instruction from master, it is not from me. It is instruction from your master that you should come. Then I went third way, Bhagavan has called me, I must go. Then I decided to go. But I was angry with Bhagavan from inside. I was going reluctantly. And Lakshmi was in Delhi, and Lakshmi was going through so much torture. So I stopped at Delhi to see Lakshmi, to spend some time with Lakshmi, because she's an old friend. And she was sick, and she was uncared. She had rented a room, and one South African sannyasi was. She was also a friend of Lakshmi. She was taking care of Lakshmi, but otherwise she was in a very miserable condition. No money, and sick, and just one room, and no furniture. She was sleeping on the floor. And she was one time she was the president of this foundation, and she had access to all money and several cars. So when I saw her in pitiable condition, I started crying. I could not stop my tears. I started crying, and I said, Bhagavan is very cruel. Why he is giving you so much torture? Then Lakshmi told me, stop. You should not use such word for your master. So she shouted at me. That she said, Bhagavan, whatever Bhagavan is doing for my own growth and for my own spiritual growth. And I have no complaint against Bhagavan. And you should also have never complained against Bhagavan. I told him, look, I am going to America because her passport, the American has stamped that deported and person non grata, she cannot enter America again. So there was no chance of her taking into America. But I told him that I have been called, I am going to America, I have got a visa. But give me a letter. Because Sila is creating all this problem. So, and your real situation is not known to Osho. So write a letter, and I know Bhagavan Mother very well, she trusts me. So I will give this letter to Bhagavan Mother, and Bhagavan Mother meets Bhagavan every Sunday, I know that. So through Bhagavan Mother, I can reach your letter to Bhagavan without seal. It was very difficult to go anything without proper channel, without secretary. But I know the loophole. I say I will give it to Bhagavan Mother and request Mother to give it to Bhagavan, so that whatever you are going through, you write down in few lines. And maybe Bhagavan is unaware what is happening to you, and he will help you. She was in so much trust. She told me that, look, master-disciple relationship is not on words, not on letter. He knows everything what is happening to me, and is doing everything for my good. And why should I write a letter? Writing a letter means I don't trust him, that he knows everything. He knows everything. He's omnipotent, he's a God. So nothing is hidden. So why should I write? And writing means making a complaint. I will not make a complaint. Then I told me, they just tell me something, I can talk either Bhagwan Mother or Bhagwan Doctor or Vivek, I will talk something and send you a message, she refused. She said, no. Just, then I told her, that, what can I do for you? I had a very limited money and I have to go to America. So I spare only few thousand rupees for her because she was without money daily. But I said that, what can I do for you? She said, you need not worry for me, but in drive-by, when Bhagwan comes, you make two salute. One first from your side and second from my side. Because I cannot go to America, so you have to carry my pranam. And when you see Bhagwan, first time you go down from your side and second time you go down from my side. That's the only thing you can do. I was surprised to see, I spent some days with her and I was surprised to see her surrender. She is a symbol of surrender. If you have to learn disciplehood, you should learn from Mayur Lakshmi. On way to America, one friend had invited me in London. So I spent a few days in London and reached America 6 days after I left Delhi. When I reached New York, Oregon, Rajeshpuram, it was, when I came to my room, it was time for drive-by. So everybody was going for drive-by darshan. I was reluctant because I know that Bhagwan is not going to look at me. And I have not had a night's sleep. I have not slept. So go there and stand in the sun and Master will not look at you. It is an insult. So I was reluctant whether I should go or not. Then I remember that Ma Lakshmi has told me that I have to give his pranam. So I went, her pranam, so I went there in drive-by. When Bhagwan car started coming, I have also complained against Bhagwan. And I was angry with him. Looking at Lakshmi pitiable condition because I thought that she is very hard upon Lakshmi. So I had anger against Bhagwan. So when his car came, I know that he's not going to look at me, so why should I look at him? I said, go down. Don't look at him. Car passed, I didn't know whether he looked at me or not. I was just going down twice, one for myself, one for myself. And came back to my room and took a good shower and going to sleep. Immediately, Sheela's secretary was Mukta. She came running and she said that there is a message for you. What is the message? There is a message that you should be in Sheela's office evening, exactly at 6 o'clock you should be at Sheela's office, Jesus Grove. And come with shower and clean clothes and no woolen clothes and fresh clothes. I couldn't understand why. I said, okay. Then I slept with an alarm that I will wake up at time and to meet Sheela, because Sheela was big boss. You have to be there on time. So when I was getting ready at 5:45 to go to Sheela, she was so particular, so send a car for me. It was a great favor that Sheela sends a car for you. She will send a car that maybe you are sleeping, Sheela is waiting for you. So I took a quick bath and went to Sheela's room. Sheela was in her office, Jesus Grove. She was a real boss, very strong, very egoist personality, and she really had a commanding power. So she said, okay, finally you came. And they look at the watch and said, right, you are on time. Then she said, okay, go and wait in my waiting room. There was a huge waiting room. So go and wait in my waiting room, I will come and talk to you. I have some urgent work, I will finish, so I come and meet you. Go in waiting room, and there is a coffee, you can help yourself, you can take a cup of coffee and wait for me. When I enter into this miracle, I am telling you a miracle story. When I entered into her waiting room, I was surprised. It was the biggest surprise of my life. Because when I entered into her waiting room, it was a nice, big hall with latest furniture. I saw Mahalakshmi sitting on a sofa. First thing, I thought it may be my illusion, maybe I visualized. Because I love her, so maybe it is my projection, mind projection. I thought it is my illusion and mind projection. It can't be, because I have seen her in Delhi 6 days, 7 days back without money and sick and pitiable condition. How can she be here in this world? Next to impossible. Next to impossible. When I looked, she was there. I had highest respect for Lakshmi. I used to touch her feet. I touched her feet. I said, Ma, how come you are here? You had a passport, and that was a person of non grata. So this person of non grata can never enter in America. And no money, and he was sick in Delhi 6 days back. And I saw you here, it's my dream, or you are really here? She said, I'm really here. I started crying out of the joy that Mahalakshmi is there in Rajeshpuram. I could not believe how it happened. Still even today I don't know how it happened. Then Sheila came after a few minutes and she was very bossy. She said that, look, there is a good news for you. Also, Bhagwan is very kind upon you. Bhagwan, you know, Bhagwan don't meet anybody. In Rajeshpuram there is no darshan, no personal meeting, but he is very kind of you. And this evening he asked me to bring Lakshmi and Arun together at 7 o'clock at Lautso house. So it is the biggest privilege any disciple can have in Rajeshpuram to meet Master in person. It was impossible. And you both have been called together. But if you talk about it in Rajeshpuram, that you have met Bhagwan, you have to keep it secret. If you talk about it, I will throw you out of the Rajeshpuram, both of you. And we will also put a notice that they are telling lie. Bhagwan has never met Arun or Lakshmi. They are telling a lie, they are boasting, and I will throw you out. You understand? I said, yes. Then she drove herself, us to Bhagwan house. I was surprised because I have not met Bhagwan since many years, and Bhagwan has never answered my letter. He was very hard upon me. They were looking at me, so I don't know what had happened, how his mind had changed. And he has called me and Lakshmi, and how Lakshmi came here. So it was all mind-blowing surprise to me. I could not understand what is happening. And when we reached into Bhagwan house, Lautse house, there was a big drawing room. It was empty. Bhagwan habit that he don't keep any furniture in the house. Just one chair, corner. The room we came from light, so it was dark. I could not find where Bhagwan is. I find the whole room was empty. That Sheila signaled me that, look, he is sitting there, the big drawing room, and Bhagwan was sitting in a corner in a chair, easy chair. So me and Lakshmi both rushed and touched his feet and paid our respect, and Bhagwan was so kind. He talked to us with me and Lakshmi and showed so much love and so much care that I had never expected. And we were there for 1.5 hours, just me, Lakshmi and Sila, three of us. We were for half an hour, 1.5 hours, 7 to 8:30. And Bhagwan was so kind and so caring. I gave so much importance and so much love and so much support to me and Mahalakshmi. I could not understand. Bhagwan asked me that because we were paying less money, we didn't have money, so we had to stay in tent. So Bhagwan said that you are staying in a tent. I said, yeah, because in tent you have to pay $500, a room you have to pay $1,000. For $1,000 was too much for us, 7 days. So I had booked in that tent. Bhagwan said, no, Sila, give you the air conditioned room, good room. That was a big surprise. Then I asked him, Bhagwan, I want to stay here a little longer. He said, yeah, stay as long as you want. And I said, Bhagwan, but I have money only for the celebration. I paid for the celebration, but I want to stay long. Bhagwan said, yeah. Sila, make him free pass and he can stay as long as he wants. Then I said, Bhagwan, then I will have to work, because anybody who gets free pass, he has to work in the ashram. That was our discipline. So I said, Bhagwan, in which department I should work? Bhagwan said, work? You have already worked for me for 30 years. How much you want to work for me? Just relax like a king. This is your kingdom. The whole city has made for you. Just relax. Don't work. And just enjoy your life. I could not understand. What is happening? And same he said to Lakshmi, the Bhagwan said that give her a separate apartment, Lakshmi good apartment, and a car and a driver, because she cannot drive, and put a television in her room and fridge in her room. So Bhagwan was so kind and taking care so much in detail, it was a big surprise for both me and Lakshmi. And it is the golden moment of my life that I got opportunity to be with Master for 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. And when Bhagwan was talking to Lakshmi, I used to hold her leg and I used to put my head on her leg. And then they had two legs down. And then when Bhagwan will look Arun, then I will raise my head, start talking to him. And then Lakshmi will put her head down. दो पैर में हम लोग एक पैर हमें साथ सर पर जब लक्ष्मी से भगवान बात करते थे तो मैं पैर पर रखता था, और जब हमसे बात करते थे तो लक्ष्मी रखती। तो हम लोग आधा बात भगवान ने की और आधे समय हम लोग उनके पैर पकड़े रहे। It was a great privilege. And I couldn't understand what is happening. He was so kind and gave us all the facility to stay at this Puram for as long as we wish, without working and with all free pass and good room and everything. And instructed Sila that look after these two guys and give them all the facilities so that they can enjoy. And when I asked again, Bhagavan, I want to work, I can work. He said, you have already worked for me for so many years. You have come here, so relax, not to work. You just relax. Enjoy boating, go for horse riding, go for driving, and enjoy your life. Don't work. There is no need to work. That's right. Just last time you were not looking at my face. very difficult to understand master-disciple relationship. Later on, things become clear to me. He was very hard upon me and Lakshmi because he was cooking something else. He was making us ripe for some transformation. Later on, I understand that evening it was not an ordinary darshan. It was a darshan for total transformation. Lakshmi became enlightened there at Bhagwan's feet. It was her first transformation. She became illuminated, awakened during that load. And that was the best place to become awakened, at the Master's feet. Something very beautiful also happened to me. Very, very beautiful. For many weeks after that, I was not in my body. I used to float around my body. And my friends, when I came back to Nepal also, my friends used to say that, where are you? Because I was totally absent in my body. For many, it remained for many weeks, many months. And something very beautiful happened. Lakshmi became totally enlightened, illuminated, free. She attained nirvana at Bhagwan's feet. And I also attained something very beautiful. Something for which I was striving for many lives, or it was not happening. Working for many lives, and it was not happening. That happened just at Bhagwan's feet, sitting there under his shadow of love. Which I cannot frame into words. What happened to me, I cannot frame into the word. But something happened which is very significant, which totally transformed my life. And I become another person from that day. Lakshmi remained there till Bhagwan was there in Rajneeshpuram. I lived few weeks then. I had a job and I had a task and I had instruction to run the center. And also told me during that meeting that I had to make a commune in Nepal. Because I have a small center. Who said, no, you have to make a commune in Kathmandu, in the outer skirt of Kathmandu, you have to make a commune. But again, out of old habit, because I was not in position to make a commune, because of old habit, I said, Bhagwan, I don't have the capacity, money, and I don't have the logistic support to make a commune at the moment. Then Bhagwan told me that I am not asking for logistic support and I am not asking to put your mind. I am just asking you to put your energy and things will happen. Why you are torturing your mind? It is not your task to think whether it will happen or not happen. It is my duty. Why you are torturing yourself? Just put your energy and it will happen. I am not asking for advice, he told me. Don't put your mind. Whenever he reminded me, it is your old habit. Whenever I ask you to put your energy, you put your mind. Don't put I am asking to put your energy. Why you are putting your mind? I remember, this old mistake. I have done it many times. When Bhagwan has asked me to put energy, I put my mind. My mind cannot understand this game. Master disciples game. It's impossible to understand. But then I surrendered, totally surrendered. I said, okay, Bhagwan, I will try my best. And so is this commune. Because of His grace, when sitting under a meditation hall, it was His desire and his energy, his blessing, that it has materialized. And whatever he has said, all has materialized. And whatever he has predicted, everything will be materialized. It may look very impossible, difficult. If you use your mind, master-disciple relationship, you will never understand. You will go crazy, you will go mad. You will never understand. But if you leave aside your mind, and if you trust, and if you center in your heart, then beautiful things will start happening. So I have given you an example how, and it is a mystery to me. Lakshmi is no more in body, she has left her body. I never had a chance to ask her that how she reached America. It will remain a mystery to me forever. A lady without money, without passport, without visa, without any physical support and with a very ill body, how she reached America, it will remain a surprise and a question in my mind. I never got a chance to ask to Lakshmi. I forget to ask her that how she reached there. And he told me many times when we spent many evenings together in her apartment and we talked many things. And then she told me, Arun, I have told you that Master knows everything, he will do things at right time. You should never doubt. And see, I am here in Rajeshpura and he is keeping me like a queen. I have nothing to work and I have given all facility and keeping taking care of me. So you should trust your master, you should never doubt. So, Dhyanasis, you ask all the time very important question. The question was about how master takes pariksha. Yes, every master has to take some test before you are given some responsibility, before you are given some energy, some power. Otherwise you may misuse it. So you have to be tested. Then only responsibilities are given. So he is doing the same thing and you will be also examined at due time. So get ready for that. Be prepared for that. This is not just gossip which we are talking. I am making you aware that if you really want to become his medium and really want to work for him, be prepared to pass through this examination, which is a must. And if you have a trust, you will always pass. If you use your mind, be sure you will always fail. Write down in your diary. If you start thinking about it and manipulating about it with your mind, you are sure to fail. Mind cannot understand this game. The master-disciple game is mad game. Master and disciple. M-A-D, mad. It's totally mad game. Mind cannot understand.
Swamiji, you were like a cloud when you came. I embraced you and you were like a cloud, absent.
Yes, Yogini, remember, when I came back from Rajeshpuram in 86, she used to say that, where are you? Because when I was sitting in the room, all my friends used to ask, I was absent totally. I was not, for many weeks I was totally absent. I was in very high energy. Bhagavan has given me something which I cannot describe in words, which it took 10 years for me to understand what he did that day. It took me 10 years to understand. That was not an ordinary darshan. Master don't call you for gossip. गप करने के लिए कोई मास्टर थोड़ा बुलाता है, ट्रांसफॉर्म करने के लिए बुलाता है, पूरी एनर्जी बदल, जन्म जन्म की यात्रा बदल देते हैं। वैसे So powerful is our master, and don't worry that he is not in physical body. Have a trust. He is more active than what he was in physical body, and he is more caring and more loving. He knows everything, what is good for you, and if you trust, he can take care of you, and he can take all responsibility of you.